These are 15 of the best Roblox VR games you can play on the Oculus Quest 2 and Meta Quest 3 right now. Now, do you have a favorite game that's in this list? Let me know down in the comment section below. Otherwise than that, let's go. Now, first up on our list is Energy Assault. Now, this game is probably the #1 VR game that doesn't have any other VR game like it. It's a very, very surprising VR Roblox game that raises the bar with first-person shooting games are concerned. You have a ton of weapons, from your regular machine guns to sniper rifles that you can look down the scope, to a realistic reloading mechanic, and it's sometimes hard to believe that this is just a Roblox game because of how detailed it is. You can even dive on the floors to shoot, and it leads to some hilarious battles. Next up then is Sked's Playground. Now, Sked's Playground is another VR godlike game where you interact with the little people below you. There's not as much in this game as the other godlike games on this list, nor is there any unique selling points that separates it from the other ones. So let's get straight on to the next video. So next up then is the back rooms. Now, we all know the back rooms and we all know the terrible things that lurk within the game. But did you know you can play the back rooms in VR in Roblox? Yes, that means that you and your non-VR friends, all VR friends, can team up to take on the dangerous world of the back rooms, and you can do it with the full immersion of the Meta Quest 2. The game is also being updated with new floors regularly, so there's always something worth playing. Now, next up is the game that started the godlike Roblox VR games craze. Without this, all the other games on this list wouldn't have been possible, and while some people say others have surpassed in many different ways, you can't deny that this game will always be the purest of the VR Roblox games. That's right, it's Roblox VR Hands. The game has recently made a comeback with VR Hands 2.0, and it's still rocking hundreds upon hundreds of players, and they're all still enjoying the game. This game has everything from treadmills on the floor to multiple obbies you can traverse yourself or with the help of the gods. This is the game that started it all, lads, and it can be absolute chaos, and I would definitely recommend checking it out when you get the chance. Next up then is Cook Burgers. Now, I'm pretty sure that if you've ever played Roblox, then you would know of the game Cook Burgers. But did you know that it was available to play in virtual reality? That's right, you can unpack, cook, and make those tasty burgers for your customers in the capitalistic search for profit. You have a teleport, locomotion, and floated hands in front of you while you stack the burgers up and get them out to your customers. The game is a little glitchy here or there, and you know, it can definitely be a bit finicky at times, but there is definitely some fun to be had. Now, next up then is VR World. Now, even though it says VR World is still in beta, it certainly doesn't seem like it. This is yet another Roblox God simulator where you can interact with many different objects in order to make the little people's lives hell or make them better. It's up to you. You can play with other godlike characters with bowling balls. You have remote control cars, punching bags. There is seriously a lot of stuff to do in this game, and it will make a perfect addition when Roblox does come to the Quest 2 natively. Next up then is VR Islands, and this is yet another godlike Roblox VR game that has a lot of what you would expect with some added extras. What separates this game from others is the sheer amount of interactable objects. I'm going to say a few here so you can see how many they have. They have paintball guns, interactable kitchen items like ovens, microwaves, fridges, toasters, slingshots, and many, many, many more. All of these can be used to deliver a very dangerous cocktail and can be used to bully the little Robloxian people. It would take you a while to get through all the stuff this game has to offer, so it's definitely one worth checking out. Next up then is Crazy Stairs. Now, Crazy Stairs is a game where you must navigate tricky stairs that can disappear below your feet. Now, the VR version of this puts you in the shoes of a stair creating god who can teleport the Robloxian people or build an infinite amount of stairs, or if you want, you can take the stairs away in a low-key attempt at bullying. It's up to you. Next up then is Self-Driving Simulator. Now, I wanted to add something else other than the other godlike Roblox VR games to this, so that's why I've put Self-Driving Simulator on this list. Now, Self-Driving Simulator is one of those games that don't present much on the surface, but hundreds of people are still playing the game. This game is essentially a hangout game where you just sit in your self-driving car and just take in the scenery and talk to your mate, which can be hilarious at times. It's really up to you. And that's pretty much it. This game should be enjoyed with friends, of course, but if you have them, then this game could definitely be worth it, and there is still a community playing this game. Next up then is Edgeworks. Now, Edgeworks stands out as one of the most detailed and most unique games on this list. The game was made closely to resemble games like Boneworks and Bone Lab, with there being a focus on realistic physics and utilizing them to complete puzzles and progress through the game. You can climb across objects and pick up machine guns, pistols and shotguns and use it to take out the enemies. I would go as far as to say this is one of the most detailed games you can play in Roblox VR.
Next up is Ragdoll Simulator. Now here is another godlike Roblox VR game, and that's Ragdoll Simulator. It has everything you would come to know and love from Roblox VR games, but the characters go full ragdoll whenever they are thrown or interacted with, and that leads to some funny moments, like a person falling down a flight of rainbow coloured stairs, or landing in some landmines and flying into the air. There's not much else I can say about this game, as it does follow a large amount of the other games mentioned on this list. We're just going to get right on to the next one, which is... Next up is VR Hangout. Now, as we were talking about VR and Roblox, there will be a few godlike Roblox VR games on there. By that, I mean a game where you, as the VR player, will be a large body with hands who will lord over the small Robloxian players. Robloxian? That seems to work. And this game is exactly that. You control the little people in many different ways, from grabbing them and throwing them and having them bounce on your hand, or throw them at pipes. You can also use stuff that's specific for the VR players, like using Legos, playing piano, or even Connect Ball. There are many other things to do as well that can be used to interact with other VR players.
Next then is VR Blocks Drawing. Now this is a very obvious drawing game that you can play in Roblox VR. In this game you can share space with many other players and use your many tools to draw whatever objects you want in whatever color you choose, and you will only be limited by your imagination. Now I guarantee it won't be long before someone draws a massive Noodle VR. This is a flat VR game where you are a noodle man with stretchy arms who can interact with the world and the other Robloxians around you. You can carry multiple different weapons and items, and you can choose to do with them what you please. And as always with these games, there aren't any objectives to complete, but there is plenty of things to keep you busy.
Next up is Poser VR. Now, a Poser VR is a first-person shooter game where you pick a variety of weapons and have to take out your opponent. It's basically every first-person shooter game ever made in Roblox, just in VR. Its main levels take place on rooftops and the offices just below, but the one thing I would say is cool is how the lighting effects are in this game. As you navigate the corridors, it really brings the game to life. There are also some pretty decent weaponry which can be picked up, or you can find secret weapons as well.
So that's it, guys. What did you think of this list? These are 15 of the best Roblox VR games you can play right now on the Oculus Quest 2 or Meta Quest 3.